As it is written in Isaiah the prophet, "Look, I am sending my messenger ahead of you who will prepare your way."
Hello everyone, my name is Jared. Welcome to Branch Together. It's been a while since I've said those words, and it feels good to be back. It's also a bit bittersweet because we are putting together these messages due to the worldwide COVID-19 pandemic. Branch Together is centered in New Jersey, in America, where the virus seems to be growing, and schools and churches are canceling a lot of gatherings to hopefully contain this virus. Though many people cannot be together physically, we want to do all we can to stay connected and support each other, love one another, and grow in faith during this time. Followers of Jesus believe that in all circumstances, we have a message of hope. I say this in my local church community, and I'll say it here, and it is why we have BT. We always want to focus on what matters most. And for so many of us, what has come to matter most is Jesus. His love, His grace, His sacrifice, His goodness, His truth. We believe that Jesus is good news of great joy for all kinds of people. We believe that Jesus brings hope, even and especially in scary and dangerous times. So we are going to have daily messages of hope where we read a bit and talk a bit about the life of Jesus and His first followers. Today is our first message of hope, and it comes from John chapter 13, 1 to 17, and 31 to 35. And you are invited to read along and listen along with me as I read. Now before the festival of the Passover, Jesus knew that His hour had come to depart from this world and go to the Father. Having loved His own who were in the world, He loved them to the end. The devil had already put it into the heart of Judas, son of Simon Iscariot, to betray Him. And during supper, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into His hands, and that He had come from God and was going to God, got up from the table, took off His outer robe, and tied a towel around Himself. Then He poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel that was tied around Him. He came to Simon Peter, who said to Him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus answered, "You do not know now what I am doing, but later you will understand." Peter said to Him, "You will never wash my feet." Jesus answered, "Unless I wash you, you have no share with me." Simon Peter said to Him, "Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head." Jesus said to him, "One who has bathed does not need to wash except for the feet, but is entirely clean. And you are clean, though not all of you." For He knew who was to betray Him. For this reason He said, "Not all of you are clean." After He had washed their feet, had put on His robe, and had returned to the table, He said to them, "Do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for that is what I am. So if I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have set you an example that you also should do as I have done to you. Very truly I tell you, servants are not greater than their master, nor are messengers greater than the one who sent them. If you know these things, you are blessed if you do them." Verse 31. When He had gone out, Jesus said, "Now the Son of Man has been glorified, and God has been glorified in Him. If God has been glorified in Him, God will also glorify Him in Himself, and will glorify Him at once. Little children, I am with you only a little longer. You will look for me, and as I said to the Jews, so now I say to you, where I am going, you cannot come. I give you a new commandment, that you love one another just as I have loved you. You also should love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." Roads in the Middle East 2,000 years ago were different. They were made of dirt. All of the garbage and animal waste and human waste was thrown out in the streets. Everyone walked in sandals. Your feet got dirty. You washed your own feet, or you had a servant wash your feet. And in this story, in this scene, in this meal, Jesus, their leader, and the one they believed was the Messiah, the one they believed was their king, washed their feet. Jesus came not to be served, but to serve people. Jesus is the one who will grab the servant's bucket and wash your dirty feet. He came to serve you, even though he knows you might abandon him or refuse him. His commitment and loving heart towards you is not conditioned on how you treat him. How deep is that love for us? How vast beyond all measure. In their world, you would only serve like this if you were a conquered slave. In our world, you would only do something like this for your children or your spouse or your parents when they are sick or dying. Only the most loved in your life would you serve at this level. And that's because we have a small circle of love. Jesus' circle is bigger. It includes friends who abandon him and even the ones who betray him. Jesus is the one who loves enemies like the closest family. The Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for the many. God's circle of love is that big, and you are included in that circle. He serves you. He loves you. If you met him face to face, he is the friend that would invite you in from a messy storm, care for you, and wash your feet. At the end of this story, Jesus asks his friends a simple question. Do you understand what I have done for you? And then he gives them a simple command. Love one another as I have loved you. Do you understand what Jesus has done for you? I hope you do. I hope we all get it because it is the best news. It is hope-filled news. To belong to the God who loves that much is a hope that can keep you going. The command to go and love as he has loved, that mission is worth our whole life. Do you get that? If you get his love, how will you love as you have been loved? In your COVID-19 space or your COVID-19 free space this week, how are you called to love and serve others? What can you do? Where can you bring hope? I encourage you to be creative. And if you think of good ways to love in these dangerous times, share it with us. Inspire us and others. Help us think about how we can have a bigger circle of love like Jesus. That's all for today. Again, I'm so thankful to be doing this again and to get to talk to you all again. God bless you all. Keep praying, keep walking. Always feel free to tell us how you are doing, and see you next time.